Good morning. We're going to do a video today on some line boring. We're going to go through the process and give you an idea of what we do start to finish. This particular job we've done probably 9 or 10 of these units. What we're doing is we've got a center bearing that they've redesigned it and went up in size, so we're going to have to just open the hole up top and bottom. I'll bring you along as we go through the process, show you different steps, and then we'll show you the completed project at the end.
All right, we've got the initial setup in the machine. You can see I've already put the 2 center bearings in. They're just hanging there. The bar's hanging there, top and bottom. That's not normally how you would do it, but once you put the bearings on, you can't take the bar out to adjust it, so you have to put your center bearings in first. This is the centering cone. Just wanted to show you what it looks like. This here is your collar. It'll go on the bar underneath the centering cone. It has 2 bolts. You can jack down on it, put some pressure on the bar to hold it in place, and then you lock your centering cone down and take it back out. Be careful not to go crazy tightening them down. You just want to snug them up. This here is a nice machined surface. The boards aren't worn out. They just want to open the holes up. So the centering cone is going to get us real close to where we need to be. Okay, real quick, I've put this on, I've snugged them up, then I've turned around and I've tightened the screw on the centering cone, and now I can remove this piece, and then we'll start moving forward from there. Okay, so we're starting to work on centering the bar up. I start out using a pair of inside calipers with a micrometer just to go around between the bar and the inside of the bore like this. So we've checked it side to side. We're right on the money. Front to back, we're about 39 thousandths difference from front to back. Now remember, because we're in a bore, we have to split the difference between the two, so we're not going to push this bar back 39 thousandths. We're going to push it back half of that distance, and then that should make us center. Once I get it pretty much where I want it using the inside calipers, I'll set up a dial indicator, I'll sweep around the circumference of the bore, and I'll come up with my final center. I'm not going to go into doing all that. I just wanted to explain how I get an initial setup, and then I'll show you a quick clip of the dial bore gauge if I can get a good shot of it, and then we'll move forward from there. Okay, this is a quick setup of the gauge that I'm going to use to sweep the bore with. It's a dial indicator set up on an arm here. I bought it from Anytime Tools. It's relatively reasonable to buy. 0 to 15 thousandths and half thousandth increments. You can notice you can sweep it either way. I just swept it around to the rear, and I'm probably pretty close to my 39 thousandths with just using the inside calipers. And then I'll show you a quick setup of another gauge that I use to push the bar back and keep track of how far I'm moving. Okay, you see I've got a dial indicator set up on a magnetic mount to the rear of the bar because we had to move the bar to the rear. It was 39 thousandths, so we split the difference at 19 and a half. And we used this adjustment screw on our bearing head to push the bar back half the distance of the bore. We should be pretty close to being through right now. We're going to sweep it one more time with our other dial gauge and double check our work, and then we'll add a couple more bearings, set the machine up, and start boring. Quick little trick, you're setting this up by yourself. Obviously I got an F-clamp there holding it in place until I tack it. I just stuck a little piece of welding rod through the bar along the bearing just to hold the bar in place, because it won't just float there by itself. When you're out here in the field working by yourself, you got to get creative. And just a little trick. Maybe you can use it, maybe you can't. All right, we got 2 bearings, same part number. One's measuring 375, one's measuring 372. Always check your parts before you start machining. Just because it came out of a box does not mean it's what it's supposed to be. These bearings have a split in them, so they're never totally true. And we've had an issue in the past where we've machined it to size and the bearing just fell right in. So always check your part before you start. All right, the starting size on the hole is 3 inches 923. Our ending size is going to be 4 inches 370, which we're going to take 449 thousandths out of the hole, just under a ½ inch. There's a bolt hole in here I'm going to show you. Right now, from that side of that bolt hole to the outside of the bore, it's 320 thousandths. And when we get done, we're going to close that up considerably, or actually to the inside of the bore, and I'll show you that as well. Taking about 2.5 hours to set up. We've got the machine all set up, ready to go. I've double checked everything, made sure it was tight. One thing I want to point out is these grub screws that go in and hold your tool bit. If I'm not using the hole, I go ahead and take them out. What's happened over the years is they've backed out and they get hung up in the machine or a bearing, and then you end up not knowing why your machine's not working correctly. We've added a couple extra braces. The top bearing's just a regular old bearing, nothing special, and we're ready to start. All right, our initial cut was about 120 thousandths. The bore's looking pretty good. I haven't cleaned it up yet. It's just initial rough cut. You can see the different colors in the two chips. The bottom of the bore cut real nice, had a nice gray chip. And then there's a transition between the bottom plate and where that top plate's welded on. At that point, I was getting a little bit of chatter in the bar. I backed off with the tool pressure, and it got worse. So I went ahead and ran the tool pressure up, which means the travel speed of the bar, and I got rid of the chatter. But however, you can see the difference in the chip color. I mean, getting real hot cutting toward the top, but it still turned out nice as far as the bore went. So sometimes you get tool chatter, you can either back it off or put more tool pressure on it, depending on what the machine wants. But we were able to get it done, and we're going to start with our second cut, and then we'll come back after. All right, we're getting down to our final cuts on the lower bore. This is my inside snap gauge. I bought this from a company called Bore Repair Systems. They sell basically everything you need to do line boring. My machine setup is a Climax. Climax has their own tool, really nice tool that goes in and checks. However, the tool that they have is like an electronic micrometer that kind of clamps to the bar, and a lot of times I just find it's too hard to use. So I bought this snap gauge. Basically, in a nutshell, you run it up there through the borehole, you snap the inside, and then you're able to get a measurement with your micrometer. That's showing us right there at 296, and 370 is our mark, so we're getting close. All right, so did our final cut. The bore is okay looking. We're within about 1/1000th of being on our mark, so we're going to stop right there on this bottom bore, and we'll finish cleaning this up, probably with a flap wheel. If it didn't have that stop in the top of the bore that you can see there, I'd use a hone, but being you can't get all the way through it, we'll just use a flap wheel to clean that up, and then we should be right on size. Also, I'd like to show you that hole, how close we are to the edge of it now. I'll get a measurement on it, and I'll let you know what it is. All right, here's our final bores. The bottom. That's the top. You notice how close we are to those bolt holes now, so that's why it was so critical to be centered. Another job wrapped up, got the truck picked up. we're all good to go. This thing's up on a table. Got a 15-ton crane holding it, plus they've got this big Mitsubishi forklift underneath it for safety, just in case. So I felt pretty comfortable working on it. Job's wrapped up. Thanks.